It started, as most strange things do now, with a quiet notification. Not a siren. Not an explosion of headlines. Just a small update alert on a phone screen that most people swiped away while half asleep. Somewhere between coffee and routine, the world shifted again. That's how this past year in artificial intelligence felt, not like a single dramatic leap, but like dozens of subtle bends in reality that only made sense once you looked back. At the beginning of the year, AI still felt like a tool. Powerful, yes. Impressive, absolutely. But still something you used. You typed into a box. You waited. It responded. That mental model didn't survive the next 12 months. By spring, AI stopped waiting politely for instructions. It began anticipating them. Writers noticed first. Not because AI replaced them overnight, but because it started finishing their sentences, not metaphorically, but literally. Drafts arrived already shaped. Outlines appeared before questions were fully formed. The creative process began to feel less like building something from scratch and more like steering a fast-moving river. Some people loved it. Others felt deeply unsettled. And that tension, between wonder and unease, became the emotional soundtrack of the year. Artists watched as images materialized in seconds that once took days. Musicians heard melodies born from prompts that sounded suspiciously like memories. Programmers saw code written faster than they could explain the problem. Students realized the homework system had quietly collapsed. Teachers realized the same thing, one heartbeat later. For a while, everyone argued about whether this was cheating, or progress, or the end of something sacred. Then the arguments got drowned out by usage. People didn't decide to rely on AI. They just did. Because when a tool saves you time, you give it a little trust. When it saves you effort, you give it more. When it starts saving you from yourself, your forgetfulness, your confusion, your blank page fear, you hand it something bigger. By summer, AI was no longer a headline. It was infrastructure. Invisible systems scheduled deliveries, filtered job applications, detected diseases earlier than doctors could explain, generated marketing campaigns before meetings even began. Entire workflows quietly reorganized themselves around models that never slept and never forgot. And here's where the year got truly strange. The improvements didn't slow down. They accelerated. Each new model didn't just feel better, it felt qualitatively different. Less like software. More like something present. Conversations stretched longer. Memory felt persistent. Reasoning appeared layered. It wasn't consciousness, not really, but it was close enough to make people uncomfortable using the word just. Just a tool stopped sounding accurate. Somewhere around this point, a quiet realization spread: we were no longer watching AI progress from the outside. We were inside the experiment. Companies raced to integrate faster than competitors. Governments scrambled to write rules for systems that had already evolved past the first draft of regulation. Parents wondered what skills even mattered anymore. Kids adapted instantly, as kids always do, while adults argued about what had been lost. Jobs didn't disappear all at once. They blurred. Roles shifted. Titles changed. One person with AI support could now do the work of 5 from a year ago, not because they worked harder, but because leverage had fundamentally changed. Productivity graphs went vertical in some places and flatlined in others. And still, the models kept getting better. By autumn, AI wasn't just responding, it was collaborating. Suggesting ideas you hadn't considered. Catching errors before you noticed them. Asking clarifying questions that revealed flaws in your own thinking. For many people, it became the most patient partner they'd ever worked with. That raised a new question. If an AI helps you think, where do you end? This wasn't a philosophical question anymore. It was practical. Daily. People began outsourcing not just tasks, but decisions. What to write. What to buy. How to reply. How to plan a future that now felt increasingly nonlinear. And yet, the world didn't collapse. No dramatic AI apocalypse. No robot uprisings. No single moment where everything broke. Instead, life went on, just slightly warped. The weirdness lived in the details. Like realizing that the voice on the other end of customer support wasn't human and you didn't care. Like seeing children talk to AI tutors with the same casual confidence they once reserved for search engines. Like watching creators compete not on who could make more, but on who could make something that still felt undeniably human. Authenticity became currency. Taste became power. Judgment mattered more than execution. Because when anyone can generate anything, the real skill is knowing what shouldn't exist. As the year closed, a strange calm settled in. Not acceptance. Not fear. Something quieter. Recognition. We weren't witnessing a single technological leap. We were watching the early days of a new layer of reality being installed. AI didn't replace human creativity. It surrounded it. It didn't end work. It redefined leverage. It didn't answer every question. It changed which questions were worth asking. And now we arrive at the uncomfortable part, the year ahead. Predictions feel almost irresponsible when progress is this nonlinear. Every confident forecast from last year aged badly. Timelines collapsed. In 5 years became by summer. Still, some patterns are emerging. AI will become less visible, not more. It will sink deeper into everyday systems until we stop noticing it entirely. The gap between those who understand how to direct AI and those who don't will widen, not because of intelligence, but because of curiosity. Education will fracture before it reforms. Creativity will explode and then refine. And perhaps the strangest prediction of all. We will start talking less about AI. Not because it failed, but because it's